So I want to explain what we're doing right here. This is the project. We have a pyramid here, and these are all of the potential markets and people that are interested in sexuality, intimacy, relationships, etc. in the entire Bay Area. These are all the people that we can talk to. Now, let me talk about these 5 different levels, these 5 different layers of people that you will see. There's not how big the thing is on the how big the area is on the triangle does not indicate how big the market is. So down here, okay, down here, I won't click here. Down here, we've got normal people with typical religious upbringing or maybe not. They have jobs, they believe in marriage probably. They don't understand much about real spirituality. They may be in conventional religions. They distrust foreign things. They don't like Arabs. They don't speak Sanskrit and they're not interested in learning it. They may be looking for sex and relationship advice, but they want to use approved channels like their minister or their parents, or maybe a therapist or counselors. Maybe they bought a book about it. They watch Oprah or Dr. Phil, and this is the extent of their education. They don't have any toys, sex toys. They don't go to parties. Their parents and their own unconscious beliefs guide their behavior, their unconscious teachings that they've taken. If they came to a typical sex positive event, they would stick out like a sore thumb. They would be nervous, standoffish. Or like kids in a candy store would be the other perspective. They wouldn't know how to deal with the apparent freedom. They don't really have much understanding of boundaries. They can't ask for what they want or need. They probably know the missionary position, and maybe everything else is sin or at least unknown. They might come to an event if a friend or someone they trust recommends the event to them. Maybe 20% of these people are at any given positive educational event, although, as I said, they stick to the mainstream. They're distrustful. Maybe they do something like that once a year, which is really leaning out of their comfort zone. They're terrified of strip clubs, prostitutes. They project their fear into society. They maybe have secret fetishes and fantasies that they don't tell people about. They most likely have unhappy or no relationships, sexless marriages. They don't have any understanding of anatomy, orgasmic response, and not much else around sexuality. And they're afraid and embarrassed to talk about it. They probably have a lot of guilt and shame, and they're just staying in the status quo. This is probably 60 to 70% of the people in the United States. All right? Let's look at level 2, second level on this pyramid right here. These people have begun to explore the world of sex positivity. They've been to a sex shop. They may have visited a workshop, if it sounds interesting. They don't tell people about it, though. It's something for the bedroom, and they're quiet about it. They're shy about it. They still have a lot of shame. They've started to let go of some of the beliefs of their parents or traditions or society. They're a little bit more comfortable and might visit slightly more advanced events. They might blend in a little bit more. They're looking to explore and dive in. They want to try new things. They may be very shy. They may go to a new workshop every few months. They might have a few books. They might have tried bondage or spanking. Not quite as many hang-ups as level 1s. They have little or no experience with sacred sexuality, not much connection to the foreign concepts or terms. They might be friends with a cuddle party facilitator. They might know a sexologist. Sexual development is not the main thing that they're after, that they're interested in, but, they might be curious. This is 20% of society. Now we're going up the pyramid, level 3. Level 3 people are comfy in the scene. They might visit a dungeon or a swinger party or a sex club or private parties on a fairly regular basis. Strip clubs are no big deal. They might dance or strip for their partners without a problem. They've confronted their own sexuality. This is LGBT people. These are trans people. These are people who've begun to study. These have been people who've been forced to confront their own sexuality and understand it a bit. They're into experimentation. They can try new things. They are a member of one or more of these outside groups with some regularity. They may have some knowledge and interest in sacred sexuality or energy. They may have some experience in one or more forms of kink. This is from 5 to 9% of the population, depending on where you are going. Um, Now, the next level, level 4. Deep interest and experience in sexuality. Regularly experience deep coursework and development around sexuality, intimacy, and relationships. They're very curious and they study powerfully about sexuality and intimacy. They've worked generally in the field or drawn powerfully to it. These include a lot of people who are involved in the sex industry in some way: sexologists, sex coaches, tantra teachers, kink instructors, therapists, sexological body workers. They understand something about energy, sexual magic. They're comfortable around chakras, energy structures. They can understand these topics. They know what a yoni is. They've tried anal. They've been with probably both or multiple genders. They can manipulate energy. They're probably familiar with meditation. This is 0.9% of the population, approximately. And here we go at the very top of the pyramid. These are 0.00001%. This is the vanguard of sexuality. They're doing deep R&D and research about sexuality and energy. They're starting and running their own schools, leading movements and organizations, speaking powerfully and influencing their peers. They're the movers and the shakers. They're masters of sacred sexuality. They're authors. They're in demand. They have a deep understanding of one or more systems of sexuality. They understand terminology deeply in their discipline. They mastered anatomy and physiology around sexuality. They're expert healers. They deal with deep trauma and societal and personal transformation. They're masters of energy and healing. They're self-directed, powerful communicators with structure and released emotions around relationships and connecting. So there's not very many people like that. There's maybe 50 in the world, maybe 5 at the very top. But the thing is, the question is, who are we marketing to? Who have we been talking to? Well, most of us tend to be marketing to this levels 2 and 3, right? We're talking to people who are in the scene, that have dealt with sexuality, that have, let go of a lot of their hangups and stuff. They've gotten some education. And then we're looking at people who, do stuff once in a while and go to a workshop here and there, or maybe interested in switching things up a bit. They're starting to explore the world of sex positivity, etc., etc. Well, guess what? Those 2 layers of that triangle, and if we go all the way to the top, it doesn't add many people numerically. Our maximum 20 to 30%, maximum 30% of the people in the Bay Area, and if you leave the Bay Area, they're even less. So we've just reduced our market and the people that we're communicating with down to 30%. We're marketing to ourselves, about ourselves, with ourselves, and there's a few people in this movement, but I estimate less than 5,000 in the entire Bay Area. And if you go to parties around here, you're seeing the same 200 people over and over again. If you're friends with everybody on Facebook, that may be 500 people who are all into this stuff at any level. It's not a very big group. There's various groups who know each other and various movements and organizations and things, but really it's a drop in the bucket. And even if you're moving up to level 2, we're only reaching 20% of people. Well, for this reason, a lot of people get into this business, market to this 20% or that 10%, even more intense, are finding that they can't really connect to the mainstream, which means they can't make a heck of a lot of money, and then they're just dropping out. Who's selling to the mainstream? John Gray is selling to the mainstream. Mars, men are from Mars, women are from Venus. This is the kind of stuff that people are reading. This is the stuff that they're connected to. But, these people are outside the community, more or less. They don't live here. They're not bringing in massive groups to contribute to the community. And we don't have any structure or organization. If you imagine like a bunch of little circles everywhere in these levels, these are all of our businesses. A bunch of circles in that, in that second level, which is only 20%. Remember, 70% of the people are down here. but only a bunch of circles here, a bunch of circles here. So we're trying to teach the people that are already very advanced and trying to move forward, and we're not really connecting to the people from level 0. So what we're going to do is we're going to create a bunch of businesses that are going to be connected and working on communicating with that 60 and 70%. We're going to start with what they want and where they are, and we're going to start moving them up that pyramid in education and understanding and experience. We're going to create products and services that can reach this very bottom level and have people that are working to cultivate that bottom level and educating at that level and helping people to move up, so they don't have to do woo-woo, crazy, strange things to get into this scene, to start following their own education. And we're going to have to do that with completely new thinking that has been used in this area, and it's going to require a lot more cooperation of all sorts of people to hand off. When your business is here, you're going to have a way to interface and move from that bottom level to the next level. You're going to have a way to hand off those customers, those people, when they're ready to go up. And, there'll only be 20% that are ever able to go to the next level. So we'll be 20% and 20% up for the first level. If we contact 1,000 people here, 200 may do that day long or that weekend workshop. And these people may do an evening. They may buy a book. They may buy a CD. These people will maybe have a week-long course. These people will maybe do a year-long course. These people will be creating the year-long and greater courses. But we have to be communicating. We have to be communicating on all levels between all these circles that are on all these spaces, all these little businesses, all these people with all these ideas, and we've got to have the energy and information flowing freely throughout this entire pyramid, throughout this triangle, so that we can actually communicate effectively to people at whatever level they are and give them the right message to move them to the next level. So this is the project for this time, and more details in person.